It really makes my pee smell weird. I don't know why.
What are you talking about?
I'm
Granola?
saying no, not granola bars. Like the like canned tuna that you can get from anywhere.
Ew, wait, what is it? Does it smell like tuna?
Does my pee smell like tuna?
Yeah,
I think so.
that's disgusting.
It
Don't
is.
talk to me ever again.
It's pretty gross. Oh, I hit the record button, didn't I?
Bro,
Oh.
wait, hold on, wait. Because like certain cereals also makes your pee smell weird too. I learned.
Yeah,
Like
I think
like what's it called? How asparagus makes your pee smell weird
uh-huh.
sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
yeah.
had asparagus, so I wouldn't know. But I'd
Oh,
take
well,
people's word for it.
you're just like
Uh,
quoting a fact that you know?
yeah. Well, for me, Honey Smacks, or I think Golden Crisp is the other name for them.
Hmm.
They're the ones that are like the wheat that's like soaked in honey, and they're like little puffs. And
It must
um,
be I attribute it kind of like well, in that case, I don't know. I was like it must be the chemicals that are preserving this.
mhm.
Like in that case it seems more like chemicals. In
It
this case,
has
it
to
just
be.
seems like I've consumed too much tuna in my life, and now my body can't process tuna smell out.
It's either that or just like something like minerals or whatever some kind of food component is, or like element, something, I don't know, that's not interacting the normal way, or maybe it is reacting. Maybe it is reacting and causing urine to change its smell. Because I mean, like, it doesn't smell like ammonia, which I guess is good,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
think
also
ammonia would be
weird.
like if you were really concentrated,
Yeah,
which I don't think is good. But it's weird because it my my pee doesn't normally smell.
well, that's probably good since you drink a lot of water.
Yeah, I was like maybe it's because I'm not drinking enough. Maybe I need to drink more, but it's not like I'm
Maybe it's not
drinking less than
filtering
I
out.
was. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't
Oh,
know.
hold on real quick. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off again, but I'm gonna cut you off again. Uh,
No, oh,
maybe
this is
think
good. We
of
need to move off of this topic.
it's not about pee, but it is about ammonia,
Oh, okay.
mustard gas, if you will.
Oh,
Um, so for those who don't know, I work maintenance. Hello, my name is Lamb. I work maintenance for an apartment complex, right?
right.
And I remember this one work order, and it said, I can't quote it exactly, but it said something along the lines of, um, my toilet or like my washer, it smells weird. I think it smells like ammonia. I've tried cleaning it with multiple things like bleach.
Okay.
And if you don't know, bleach and ammonia makes mustard gas, which is a chemical warfare
Oh.
element that
Oh.
like, and I was like, are you kidding me? How did these kids make it this far? Because like I work for a student property, for like a college property, and so like our residents are mostly around college age. 18 to like 24 is most of their age ranges, the age range of most of them. So it's like, how are you guys in college and you're creating biological warfare in your bathroom?
This is because they banned the anarchist cookbook back in the day.
Oh God.
If that was still publicly available at the library like it was for the rest of us, they would know not to do that.
Yeah, that's fair. But I
Let
mean,
this be a
I
warning.
I don't want to be that guy. How older people are always like, oh, this generation screwed or shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But like, it was a couple of days after moving day, which was a couple weeks ago, and we got some or the office was like, "Hey, can you go check this apartment out? Their washer's full of water. It's not draining. They're worried about it. Blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll go check it out." I get there, the washer drained all the water out, and the resident was like, "Oh yeah, after I got off the phone with them, it started draining."
Mhm.
But all my clothes are still soaked, and so I'm just worried, like, that it's not working, blah, 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 and I was like, "Okay, cool, I'll take a look at it." As soon as I said that, the spin cycle turned on,
Oh.
and the girl looked at me, and she said, "I'm sorry, I don't know how a washer works."
Uh, like that was the first time she had washed her clothes ever in her life?
I'm assuming so, John.
Oh,
I
boy.
don't understand how they're gonna make it in this world.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna learn. They're gonna do exactly what just happened to them there.
Well,
They're
I
gonna make
hope so.
mistakes, and then they're gonna, overcome it in the end.
I
That
just
that lady's gonna go on and, save, third world country or
cure cancer,
yeah, there you go, cure a disease. There you go.
cure Keurigs. But
They're gonna
listen,
invent
listen.
Keurig 2
This is my rant for the
5.0.
day. I get to rant today.
Mhm.
Yesterday, So it's been getting a little cooler, because
Yeah,
we're in the fall
finally.
times. Finally, it's still gets between like 60 and 90 though, so like it's
Yeah.
not too hot, thankfully, but it still gets up there. And so somebody put on a work order at about 4 o'clock yesterday, 4 p.m., saying that their AC isn't working,
What a pain.
and I was like, ugh. Since I'm gonna be on call this weekend, let me go deal with this now so I don't have to come out over the weekend or come out later tonight.
Right.
And they had one of the other roommates had put in a recorder saying that it's hot in their room but nowhere else in the house. So my coworker was like, "That's probably all it is." And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not trying to chance it, so I'm like, just go ahead and check it out." I go over there. So for those who don't know, it is considered an AC is considered an emergency when it is over 80 degrees inside of the apartment or over 80 degrees outside, I believe, or at least that's how we do it at my property. So I go over there, I check their outside unit. It's working fine. It's blowing all the hot air out. The freon line is freezing. It's sweating. Everything looks good there. And I said, if I go up there and the AC is working, I'm gonna throw a fit.
Uh-huh.
Jonathan, I went up to that apartment, third floor, by the way.
Oh, of course.
I went up to their apartment. I
No
opened the,
elevator.
or I walk in. They didn't answer the door because they were blasting music, so they didn't hear me come in. I was like, "Hey, I'm here to check out the AC," and they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's not working." I was like, "Huh. All right, I'll check it out." Mind you, and it was pretty warm outside. So when I walk in, of course, a blast of cold air feels nice. But I don't
Sure.
know if it's because it's cold inside, or just because it's colder inside than it is outside.
Alright, right.
I go look at the thermostat. Do you want to know what they have it set to?
I mean, probably, like, what is the lowest it can go, like, 62?
I think so, maybe 65. No, they have
Okay.
it set to 71.
Oh,
Do you
okay,
wanna know
okay.
how you wanna know the temperature in that apartment, Jonathan?
Was it 71?
It was 71.
So they just hadn't, like, turned it low enough to make it colder
I don't
inside?
know what the issue they had was, but the AC was working properly the entire time, and so I was just like, I can't just say, "Hey, your AC is working," 'cause I don't wanna deal with an angry parent or an angry resident right now. So
Uh-huh.
I open up the AC from the inside. Their air filter is disgusting.
Ooh,
So I'm like, "Okay, Imma go change this, because that could possibly be a reason why there's not enough airflow throughout the apartment." So I'll
sure.
give them that. But the fact that it's still 71 in the apartment means that it's working good enough to keep the apartment cool. So I don't know what they were upset about, and I I was just it was because also the resident who put in the work order for the AC put in like 5 other work orders saying, "Yeah, I put all these in," or like, "I made notes about all this when I moved in on my move-in portal, blah, 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 blah."
Oh, yeah.
Uh, and what's it called? All of them are cosmetic things. They're not maintenance things. They're not things that are dire, but the way that they put them in the work orders made it seem like they were super important. Such as, there's chips of paint missing on my door,
Oh, yeah, of course.
or the light fixtures are dirty. Eh,
I'm understanding more why, like, maintenance workers are kinda surly the vast majority of the time.
yeah, I mean, lucky for them, I have a lot of years in customer service, and
Yeah.
I'm also a people pleaser.
Yeah,
But, like,
you got the front-facing, client
oh,
power.
yeah, no, I have this cool ability to, uh, act like I'm having a great time, and I'm happy to service these people,
Right.
when I'm not.
Oh my
I'm not at
god.
all.
See, I don't know, I don't really remember. I think I lived in the apartment that I was at when I was in college for, like, the same place for, like, 4 or 5 years straight, right? Not once that I really put in I don't think I put in a single work order because I can't imagine how I would have done it at our place. I think it was like an online portal, but I also think we might have, like, called them. I think my roommate put in one at one point,
More than
but
likely, it was an online portal, yeah.
yeah, but, like, I never did. If there was a problem, I either like, solved it myself or just went, "Well, that's gonna be a problem forever now because 'cause I'm not gonna get this fixed." I think the only
I
issue that we
wish these kids were that independent, but they're
yeah,
not.
that's what I'm like, I couldn't imagine going, "Mm, the paint on my door looks a little bad." I'd be like, "Alright, well, that's how this place is, cool, alright."
No, exactly, and oh my god. Man. We've had a a lot of troublesome residents this move in. There's a whole
Really?
apartment that refused to move in because there was bugs in their apartment.
Oh,
And like I get it. Trust me, I understand. I understand why the parents were pissed off. Because if my kid was moving into an apartment, their first apartment more than likely, and they found roaches, I'd be mad too. I
yeah.
completely understand. However, these residents have been so troublesome because they're threatening legal action and suing us because their apartment had roaches in there and it wasn't made ready for them. What they were expecting was a brand new apartment.
Oh, not like 18th generation?
Yeah, this apartment complex was built 15 years ago.
Ooh, yeah.
And a lot of these residents are expecting
Oh.
like brand new appliances, never before used anything.
Yeah.
Everything looks like it was just built type stuff. And it's like, you that's not what you're paying for.
Right, yeah.
Respectfully. With the amount of money that you got, because there's been so many people that are like, I pay this much for this things and blah 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 blah. And it's like, I get it. You're paying a decent amount of money, but that's what you have to do to live somewhere. If you wanted a better place, you should have found a better place to live, and I mean
Victim
that with the
blaming.
utmost
Really? We're
respect.
victim blaming these poor, run off by roaches individuals?
Listen, the reason why I'm so heated about them was because they saw maybe a couple. There wasn't even an infestation,
Oh, oh, yeah.
and like we have worse apartments.
That
Like
people
we have
live in?
apartments
Ah,
in
that's like
worse
a self-report right
conditions.
there.
That's why I'm not naming where I work. But we have worse apartments
Oh,
throughout the
yeah.
property,
Oh
and
my
that
god.
half of them are because people like renewed and they still live there, and they're just not clean.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But a lot of like the first floor apartments, there's gonna be bugs in there because they just get in because they're on the first floor.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so because they made such a fuss, they got moved to our model unit, and they weren't supposed to be there for that long, but they've been there since moving, and that was about a month ago now.
Jeez.
And from
So
what it
what's the
looks
new
like,
is
they're
the new
trying to
model unit the
basically,
other one?
huh?
The new model unit has now become the roach one?
No, I don't think they're doing. No, we're not. Hey, my manager, my boss, my property manager refuses to let that happen because he was like, "Yeah, this isn't the first time somebody's tried to do that where they weren't happy with their conditions. They went into the model and now they're trying to live there."
Ah, yeah.
And like when they were put in the model, they were told from the jump, "Hey, this is our model unit. A lot of the things here do not work. It's
Oh,
only
yeah,
a
okay.
temporary living arrangement, so we're not going to put effort into it." But because, they're threatening legal action and all that stuff, we've had to go in and basically make everything work for them. Even though we told them initially, hey, we're not going to be doing that.
Wow.
And
Yeah, you don't negotiate with terrorists.
absolutely not.
Should've just let them live in the cardboard home and then
That's what I'm saying. Because respectfully, the way I see it, I understand they're mad, they're threatening legal action, yada, yada, yada. But give them a different living situation, like if I accommodate to their needs and only their needs, how is that fair to everybody else, you know?
Right.
Because it's like we're putting so much effort into these residents, but not the same effort into everybody else. Or that's how a resident might view it as being. Because it's like from the outside looking in, how come they get all this treatment, whereas we just have to, be here with our problems and just wait for maintenance to fix everything, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. I feel like it
I
goes
mean,
a little bit against fair housing, but anyways,
yeah, some people are just more predisposed to wanting that higher tier of comfort, I guess.
yeah. That's my uh that's my rant for today.
Nice. Yeah,
I don't like my job.
understandably so, yeah. Having to deal with not only having to deal with college students,
Their
that's just
parents, it's a
their
pain.
parents are even worse. Usually, the
Especially
parents
when
are
oh my
way
god.
worse than the kids.
And the okay, another man. The biggest issue that I've run into as a maintenance man with residents and their parents is residents, of course, make themselves out to be the victims entirely, and they omit a lot of information from their parents. So
Right.
when the parents come and they're mad at us and they're attacking us for not doing our jobs, we're like, okay, well, I understand you're heated, but this is what's going on. And they'll be like, okay, well, that's not what my kid said. And it's like, I understand that, but here's like proof.
Right.
For example, the one yesterday who put in like 5 work orders for cosmetic stuff, she or her mom was mad because we haven't been to her apartment to work on those work orders. Mind you, after moving, we had 400 plus work orders.
Oh my god.
And every day we could have anywhere from 5 to about 70 work orders put in.
Like, additionally?
Luckily,
And how many are you
huh?
able to knock out?
Well, it depends on what there is to do.
I guess
Right
that's
now,
true.
we or like the most we've done in one day was about 70.
So, like, barely keeping up, basically.
Yeah. I mean, lately, obviously, we've been able to keep the numbers down more and more because there's less and less problems because we've been able
Sure.
to actually fix things. Because I think when we left, we were about at 140
Wow, okay.
yesterday when we left. But it's a constant push and pull because even though there's days where we can knock out like 70, there's other days where we can only knock out like 20 because it really just depends on what the work orders are and the volume of them all. And we kind of got a
Sure.
system going right now where
Okay.
one of my coworkers, he focuses on like all the apartments that have like 5 or more work orders in them, and he just knocks those out. My other coworker, he just focuses on one building at a time. And then me, I kind of go through and I just find little things here and there, but I kind of try to mix it up between easy things and things that are going to take some time that could be
Hmm.
considered emergencies, like ACs, leaks, refrigerators, stuff like that. So we kind of got this balance going on, which is pretty cool.
Man, you
Um,
you guys are really like the unsung back alley heroes.
who are you telling, brother?
Society would be
We
functioning.
haven't had a supervisor for about a month either. Over a month now.
Well, hey, I see an upgrade. I see a promotion in your future.
Not for me. What's it called? One of my coworkers, he's been here. This is the 3rd year. He's already trying to go for it.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but we're supposedly going to be hiring somebody soon because we need somebody who's HVAC certified, and none of us are HVAC
Lame.
certified yet. And you need to have your HVAC certification and your EPA in order to buy like Freon and work on ACs legally, of course.
Oh, okay, sure.
So that's the biggest reason why they're hiring somebody else. But our plan is to get the numbers down so low that whenever that guy shows up, because I think my property manager said he's gonna be here around October. But our goal is to get the numbers so low that when he gets here, he's like, "Dang, these guys were holding it down. They don't really need me. But since I'm here, like I'm an extra set of hands, and like I can focus on like the big things and like the projects and stuff."
Sure. Well, okay, all right. I mean, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
As for me, I'm tired of this. I'm not trying to do this anymore. I'm trying to move on
Yeah,
to something better.
yeah. I feel you.
I'm
Well,
so tired of
speaking
maintenance,
of
man.
moving on to something better, should we turn to current events?
Sure.
Well, where do we even start? I feel like I often complain that at least I have a couple of times where there's just like not really anything happening. I think that's just the ebb and flow of the world. You know, things come, they happen, and then nothing happens for a little while, but
And then
things
boom.
things have happened.
Yeah.
Like, obviously we're all ramping up to a new American um election. That's cycling up. I would
Yep.
say we've had a couple of debates, big dropout from the current president. Let's see. Now we've got it's now I think the front runners are just Trump and Harris. I think that's pretty much what it looks like.
That's usually how it is about around this
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Yeah. I just saw the other day that the Pope got involved. I don't know
What?
what it is. Okay, is it bad? Is it bad that I saw like a quote by the Pope, right? It was sort of something that was along the lines of like, yes, Americans once again have to choose between the lesser of two evils. And I was like, I looked at the image of the Pope and I went, I thought this dude died.
John.
Well, I know that one had died, but I didn't realize that the replacement Pope that they got was like as old as the other Pope was.
Pope Francis?
Is that who's currently the Pope?
Yeah, he definitely is up there in age. Oh, wow.
I'm
How
telling you, we did not get a younger pope. Like, the old pope died, and then we got an equally old pope, but one who was, I guess, young enough to still how
be
yeah.
alive?
How old yeah, was they didn't put a dead person on the throne. How old was the last pope when he died?
What is an
Okay,
anti-pope?
Pope Benedict an anti-pope. That sounds awesome.
Is it like the Antichrist, but with, like, a pope?
I guess so. Okay, so he was 95 when he died. This guy's only 76? That's not right.
Oh, well, he's been the pope since 2013.
Pope Francis was 1936.
He's almost 100. God dang.
He's I'm telling you, he's also 90. He's like 80 wait, 89? Wait.
Uh,
I gotta do math.
he is
20
87.
2024 minus okay, 87. The other dude, yeah, was 7 years older.
Wait, what?
I was so confused when I saw this. I was like,
Where
I
did
thought
Francis come from? That's not even his name.
is it not? Wait.
No, he's from Argentina, and his name is Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Bergoglio.
I see where they get Francis from, yeah.
Where?
He doesn't have an F in his name.
No, there's not even a PH.
I was just shocked that I like looking at him, I went, this dude definitely yeah, I guess he does look different than the old Pope, but they're both like they were like 80.
Yeah.
Which was it just blew my mind.
Why is his name Pope Francis? Do you like change your name when you become the Pope?
Maybe so. And the other dude's
Oh,
name is like
literally, yeah. So
15
he gets a he
words.
was so so being a pope, you get elected. Like it's an election thing. And I
Right,
believe whenever
right.
that happens, you're like pope for life.
Yes, yeah, you
And
serve
then he
until you
chose the
die.
name Francis in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi.
Well, that's fair. You know what? I
Okay.
actually know. I don't know how accurate it is. I guess, but I feel more confident in the Pope process because I saw a movie that was set around this whole process of them electing a new Pope.
Mhm.
It was oh gosh, was it called Angels and Demons? I think it's like the second part of the Da
The
Vinci
Pope's
Code.
exorcist.
No, the Da Vinci Code.
Oh, my fault, my fault.
Yeah, it's the second part two. No, not part two. Angels and Demons. Yeah. He's working, like, to keep antimatter off the streets of Rome while they're doing, like, a pope election.
Mhm.
Is a weird film. First of all, uh, I don't know why they picked Tom Hanks to be the lead.
'Cause it's Tom Hanks.
I mean, it is Tom Hanks, but I never look at Tom Hanks and I go, "Yeah, that's like a, Harrison Ford kind of, adventuring dude that goes around and does stuff." I don't know, it's very strange.
Oh, I think it really just speaks into the volume of, what's the word? Of range and acting.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we'll go with that. Tom Hanks had such a good range in those movies that they were just, we have to go with him.
I don't like your attitude.
What are you, a Tom Hanks fan?
Nah, I don't know. What has Tom Hanks been in?
I don't know. All I know is that he got yelled at during the Oscars for being a friend of Epstein or something like that.
That's he's not Top Gun, right?
No, that was Tom Cruise.
Oh, Tom Hanks! My dummy. Of course, I know Tom Hanks. That's
Everybody
Forrest
knows Tom
Gump.
Hanks. Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's also Woody from Toy Story.
He is Woody from Toy
He's been in
Story.
a lot of stuff, which was why it was surprising to go, oh, wow, he's also been in this.
Okay, well, yeah, no, this man has like actual range though. Like he's done every kind of role at
Yes,
this
he
point.
has, including being a Harrison Ford style, sort of adventure. Granted, his character in this movie was kind of a nerd. We got really distracted. Okay, current
Yeah,
events. Current events, right? Tom Hanks is not current events. He hasn't been in a movie in
Tom
10
Hanks is
years.
not the Pope.
No, he is not. He is not the
Confirmed.
Pope. But yeah, so okay, right. So politics ramping up. We'll keep everybody updated as to that as it's going along because we still have some time. Uh, but far more important than that, they just released a new Dungeons wow, I can't even I'm so excited I can't even speak. A new Dungeons& and Dragons edition has been released. I say new. It's not really new, it's just been, like, kind of reformatted, and they added a couple of things to it.
Updated, if you will.
Yes, yes. As I understood, they were, like, trying to they were not really rebranding it, but they were going, like so we were in 5th edition, right? There have been 5 other editions before this, give or take. This, I was told, is, like, gonna be called 1 D&D, right? It's the D&D of the future. We're gonna be using this going forward for the rest of time, iterating upon this slightly, introducing new rules and all this stuff as we go. It is really just, like I think they have abandoned that name. All I see online is D&D 2024.
Got
It's
it. So it's
I
kind of
don't know.
almost like a not a reboot, but like a revamp that's like, "Hey, this is Dungeons& and Dragons. We are Dungeons& and
Yeah,
Dragons."
yeah. Then they go into the VR and it's just I don't know what happens. Yeah, I don't even know how to refer to it. I'm referring to it as like 5.5 because they've done that in the past. Where it was like 3rd
Yeah.
edition and then they went to like 3.5. So this feels like 5.5 to me because it's same base system, but then they made like a couple of minor changes
Mhm.
and they made every player character way stronger. We're gonna be seeing more as things roll out. So the player handbook is out. There's kind of 3 core books. There's a
Mhm.
player handbook, there's a dungeon master's guide, which is coming out at the end of this month, and then there's the monster manual, which is just, enemies, bad guys to fight, which I think comes out in January.
I
So,
see.
currently, we don't have a full view of the new system, but, the new player handbook is exciting. It's very fun. It's very, I don't know how you view, like, the power to the players kinda thing. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of letting my players be really stupid powerful.
I think it's fun. I
As
enjoy
a
it.
player, wouldn't you rather have more options and, like, just, like, a really cool big ability that you can use? I mean,
Do you think I'm held down by the limits of the book? I think not. I create my own destiny.
you you quoting something? What
I don't know, I'm just talking, man.
Have you actually had a chance to, like, read any, or have you heard anything about the new book?
John, look at
It
look at
released
me.
5 days ago, okay?
Do I look like I read Dungeons& and Dragons?
No, you don't well, I already know that you didn't read the 2014 version.
Yeah, so why would I
I
read this
wouldn't
one?
expect you to read the 2024 version.
See, I'm glad you understand.
I asked if you had heard anything about it too. You haven't heard anything about it either?
I heard when you put it in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I basically, like, took a day off to read the entire handbook front to back and go like, "Oh, yeah, this looks like let's see what's new. Let's see what's the same." I kinda
Uh-huh.
gave up, like, reading the spells because there were, like oh my god, too many spells to read. I kinda just hit the, like, big ones that I knew about,
Mhm.
so there might be more changes to certain spells that I don't know about, but, as
It'll
as
probably be
a
fine.
yeah, even from the ones that I saw, it was like they're so minuscule, the changes, so it's like, yeah, they just, like, changed a couple things, and jury's still out on if it's an improvement or not,
Mhm.
but the only way that we'll know for sure is if we actually play it.
So are you telling me that we're gonna play it?
Well, like I said, I gotta wait for the DMG to come out, then I can really understand what's going on. I'm gonna have to take another day off to read that whole freaking book.
Just do it as you go.
That is not how this works. Look, back in the day, okay?
Uh-huh.
Back in the day, there's a reason that my mind is a vault of D&D secrets, and that's because when it
You
first
don't have a
released back
life.
in 2014 when I first started playing, I read that book. I read both of the books. You should see you've probably seen my player handbook. It's got
I
all
think
those
so.
little, like basically, because I was in school when it came out, right? So I had
Mhm.
all these little tabs, like, colored, you know, like, stick it on a page and then it sticks out like an ear
Okay.
that I could mark certain pages with so that I knew exactly where to flip whenever I needed to reference something. And so
Yeah.
my original player handbook
Oh,
is
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
covered in notes and stuff.
And now you gotta do it all again.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, maybe I won't do that to this one. Maybe I'll keep this one in more pristine condition. Because
That's whack.
I have a digital copy as well. It, like, came out
Oh.
on both.
Whack.
Yeah. I mean, I've read the other book. The actually, I actually prefer the hard copy version
Mhm.
because things are easier to read. Like, they're like, I'm looking at a larger page. Like, I'm looking at 2 pages, right? Rather than one section of a page that I'm scrolling down reading. And so I'm able to,
The
like, reference things in the book a lot easier. So the book is far superior to the online version, and that their UI is just god awful, but it's, they're working on it.
it's a progress,
Yes, yes.
process, that's the word I was looking
The
for.
the big meme that I've seen come out of this is that they just did one class wrong.
Which
The
one?
the poor ranger class, alright? Now there's only, like, 8 classes in total, and in the 2014 version, the ranger was criminally bad. They've
Yeah.
slowly fixed it over, like, 10 years to a point where you're like, "Okay." They basically released a second version that was better.
Mhm.
Now they've released basically a third version that is somehow worse than both of the other 2 versions.
Oh, no.
It's just bad. I don't wanna go off on this for too long, but we
You
basically
already
were like,
have.
"Okay, this whole thing, this whole class would be fine if you removed this." Like, this one feature, right? If that requires your character to use the concentration
Really?
aspect of the game. Yeah, the entire time that you get from, like, level 1. I've seen stats where they're like, "Yeah, you're basically excluding around 83% of all ranger spells if you're using their core ability because it
That's
requires
wild.
concentration." It was, like, one of the most bizarre choices. This is in comparison to the other classes that got such huge buffs, right? The barbarian can, like, fly at higher levels.
You said fly?
Yeah, yeah. The
They don't
paladin
need
the
that?
paladin went from being, like, top tier in, like, original 5th edition to it just blew the tier system out of the water. They, like, get to heal as a bonus action rather than an action. They get a free horse. It's crazy. It is crazy how much they put into the paladin and how little they put into the ranger. But that's all I'm gonna say on that topic.
Maybe they're
Unless
just
you
trying
would
to get
like.
rid of the ranger altogether.
I think so. I mean, they did remove some of the other classes, like artificer is not in there.
Mm.
Granted, I'm assuming most of this doesn't mean anything to our listeners that don't play D&D.
What do you
Not that
mean? The
we
only
have
people
any
who
of
listen
them.
to us
Am I
play
right, you
D&D,
nerds?
probably.
Hmm?
The only people who listen to us play D&D, I'm pretty sure.
I think so. If you don't, you
Probably.
should.
That's debatable.
I think D&D is a very healthy outlet.
Of course, you would think that.
Yeah, well, yes, I am, in a committed relationship with D&D for like 15 years now or however
Oh,
long I've been
God.
playing this.
The only relationship you're in.
How dare you, first of all? I'm also dating my hand. Is that what you wanted to hear?
That's vulgar. I
Yeah,
didn't
well,
need to know
you
that.
brought it up.
I didn't bring up anything. You're the one who wants to put your business out there.
I'm in a very healthy, committed relationship. All right, and that is all I
Okay.
will say about it. Not to D&D.
D We're gonna move on because you
We are
pissed
gonna
me
move on.
off.
I'm a hero. All right, I'm the hero of my own story.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet. You're the protagonist.
It's a
Mhm.
lot better. Okay, it's a lot
Mhm.
more interactive than any other medium out there.
That's fair.
It's collaborative. You get people in the same space, so it's not just online. Even though my group right now is online,
Oh, you have another group you play with? That's
I'm
crazy.
playing. I'm a player and I'm a DM. I'm doing both right
Oh,
now.
you don't play with me anymore.
No, that's because you're
The only time
online.
you talk to me is whenever it's this podcast.
Why do you keep bringing that up? Is that a sore point you have?
Yeah, you don't love me anymore, John.
How about I set like an alarm every morning at 2 a.m. I will wake you up and text you. Is that really what you want?
It sounds like you're just doing this out of pity,
I'm
not
gonna
because you
call you. I
care.
will call you at random hours of the AM
Why?
to
You're not even
ruin.
gonna be awake.
You will. I will keep spamming your phone until you wake up,
I'm blocking you.
just to prevent this narrative you're crafting.
See, what you're doing now is you're trying to protect you've hurt me. You've hurt me
Have
to the
I?
core.
Oh,
Yeah, you've hurt me. I'm like a wounded gazelle, and you're just hurting me more and more. And now you're trying to reconcile it by putting in some kind of effort. But now instead of putting in just a little bit of effort to prove that you do care, you're just trying to overwhelm me and overstimulate me to where I just shut down and I just say, you know what, it's fine. You don't have to do that anymore. So then you have an out.
Why did you go with gazelle?
'Cause that was a reference.
Yeah, but you could have gone with lamb. That would have been so topical. A gazelle? What is a gazelle a
Okay,
reference
okay, take
to?
2,
The
let's take
Lion
2.
King?
Let's try that again, let's try that
Yeah,
again.
take it back, take it back. I really put some heart into it, maybe try and take some deep breaths, cry a little bit getting into
Oh,
this.
right. I forgot I'm an actor, hold on.
Yeah, you're an actor, damn it.
We didn't listen, I've never been good at improv.
Well, okay, I'll hit you with the no, you're the one that hit me with it. I'll hit you with the, you are always getting on to me about never talking to you outside of this. Huh? We talk all the time.
We don't talk at all, what do you mean? You know when's the last time you talked to me? And I don't mean today
I
or
it,
yesterday.
it was oh,
You
you're
talked to
already
me
breaking?
you no, 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 listen here, you listen here.
This isn't
You only
funny.
talked to me yesterday. Your text me yesterday, you know what it was about? About today for the podcast. When's the last time you talked to me just to talk to me? When's the last time you asked me about my life? You don't. You
I,
don't. I have to update you about what's going on. I don't even know what's going on in your life unless we're on the podcast. Because you don't trust me anymore. You don't
uh, uh,
you don't believe in me anymore. What we had was special.
it's not true. None of this is true. All right, we talked last Sunday. I think we talked last
Last
Sunday.
Sunday? What did
Yeah,
we talk about last Sunday,
we talked
John?
last Sunday because we didn't talk on the podcast. We texted instead.
And what was our conversation about?
We were talking about body composition.
Did we?
Yeah, I'm looking at the text. I have hard evidence. You see, you're gaslighting. You're a gaslighter. You could power a whole metropolitan city on all of their street lights. You could feed thousands of hungry children by lighting their stoves with how much gas you're putting off.
That is irrelevant.
Irrelevant. That's this.
Well,
Oh, all
uh,
it is, it's only like a direct contradiction to the fact that we don't speak outside of this. Yeah, I
Hey,
save up my
John,
topics. I have a list here on the side. We wanted to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, but neither of us have actually seen that movie, so we couldn't talk about that.
I've seen 15 minutes of it.
I haven't seen any of it. All I've seen is I'm about to make a name for myself. That's the only thing
Ooh, I'm
that
about
I
to
have
make a name
seen.
for myself here.
That and Hugh Jackman, I think, lying on the bed, recreating the meme of Wolverine, like lovingly
Looking at the
stroking his
picture?
yeah, like picture of his wife or whatever it is.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think they did that as well. Also a good one. Yeah, but that was very good. That was good. That was excellent. Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'd
Uh,
clap, but I guess you can't hear that.
I can hear it. They won't be able to hear it.
Yeah, they won't be able. It's not important that the audience hear what we're doing in here.
Yeah. Clap and cheat. What? Who said that?
But fine, fine. If you really want me to make more of an effort to ask, like, whoa, okay, wait, this is like, okay, okay. This is why relationships are so hilarious to me.
Because
They're
we don't
like
communicate?
the need for communication. See, I think I don't like. I feel like we've discussed introvert versus extrovert before at some point,
Mhm.
but I am
Probably.
the least extroverted person I think I know. Well, actually, I think I could fake it to a certain
I
degree
think that's a
so
lie
well.
in the
Hmm?
highest degree.
What are you talking about?
I know at
That I
least
am
one
an
person
introvert
more
or that I can fake
introverted
it?
than you.
You're more introverted than me? I
I'd
would
like
agree
to
with that.
think
I
so.
would agree with that, but you also, I think, have the ability to just fake it so well.
You know, that is true. Like yesterday, was it yesterday? Thursday. Me and someone we were going out to we were going out to the square because I just wanted to get out the house, and we were gonna go get some food or whatever.
Foreign
And
concept,
so
by the way. I never leave my house.
that's fair. Stinky. And so and so I had called an Uber and we were about to head out, and he was like, "Are you gonna get your headphones?" I was like, Why? I figured we're gonna be talking while we're out." And he was like, "Oh, I was just meant for like the Uber." And I was like, "Oh, no, I usually I can talk to them if they talk to us, but usually I just stay on
What?
my phone." And so we get into the Uber. He puts on his earphones, and so I'm talking to the Uber the whole time.
That is the oh,
So
oh,
maybe not me being the most introverted, but he definitely is.
that just hurts me to hear. As a former Uber driver myself, I
Yeah.
just I mean, granted, I didn't really try and talk to the people. You kind of softball it when you get in the car.
Yeah, I usually don't try to talk to them either. So here's how my process is.
Mhm.
So usually they're here for like 2 minutes before I make it downstairs because I'm lazy. So then I look for the car, I find the car, I wave at them, hey, I get in, and they're like, for Isaiah? And I'm like, yep, that's me. And they're like, for your destination? I'm like, yep, that's correct. And then I'll put on my seatbelt and I'll just usually have my headphones on, so then I'll just be sitting there listening to music with my phone. But sometimes they decide to
Right.
be a little talkative and they're like, how's it? So how are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing pretty good. How are you? And then they'll say something back. And that's usually the extent of the conversation that I like to do,
Right.
just to be polite. But sometimes they just keep talking, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. Cool. And I can hold up a conversation for the most part,
Yeah.
but it's usually, like active listening or like active conversation skills. So
Oh,
like
where
they're
you're
talking, I'm
like,
like,
yeah,
oh yeah, no, that's crazy.
like they're talking about themselves basically, and you're like
Yeah,
going,
talking about their
"Uh-huh.
life or
Yeah,
like something
yeah.
that happened.
Oh,
And
sure."
I'm like, oh, are you serious? That's wild. No, no, I get that. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I wish they would fix this road too. They've been working on this for like the last 10 years. No, I'm
Oh,
serious. Blah blah blah. Like, yeah. So like I can definitely in those situations I can fake it to make it. What if we're talking about like areas where there's like a large gather not even a large, but like a gathering of social interaction? I can't.
I
Like when
see.
it's just
Yeah.
normal people, not like an Uber. So like if I went out, uh because you know how you have people who can just walk up to somebody and just talk to them, or like somebody walks up to them and they're just talking or whatever. If somebody
Sure.
walked up for let's say I go to the bar. Let's say you and me, we go to the ar, right?
Okay, right, right. Right, so we
We're
enter the
we're at
you
a
know,
bar
we go
table.
and sit down at the bar itself.
Yeah,
We
we're at
get
the
we
bar.
get 2 sweet pints, and
Yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah.
I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I
What
leave.
do you mean? No.
I go I stop and I go, "I just had the bathroom is right there.
Do you need help?
What I need you to do is just guard my
Can I hold it
drink,
for you?
guard your drink." No, no, it's a single stall, alright? We'll be cramped in there.
Okay, okay, okay.
You sit here, guard our drinks. Look, they got football on the telly. I will be right back. It's a
I
number 1. I
w
drank way too much earlier today. Water. We didn't drink and drive.
yeah,
I gotta go get it out so I can make more room for this beer.
you're about to
But
break
when
the
I get
seal.
back, we're gonna have a great conversation about the fact that we don't talk.
Yeah.
And then I leave.
Yep, and then I will sit there and I will look at the
Then
TV.
a guy with like like a big old mullet comes in and he
Oh,
sits down
no.
right where I was sitting a second ago. He's easily 7 feet tall, and he just sits there and he's like, "I also need a beer." And he gets a beer, and then he turns to you. He turns to you and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Uh, there's 2 things that can happen here.
Oh
The
god.
f the
He's
first
already you're
option
panicking. You're
the first option is, "Hey, how are you? How's it going?"
I'm
The other
good.
option is pure panic.
95 degrees. Yep.
He'll be trying to talk to me, and I would just do the very anxious, like, look to like, side eye and then look forward as he keeps talking to me.
You wouldn't hit him with the A. That's actually my friend's chair. You just like gave up my only seat. The bar is packed. There's no other seats. We were lucky. We got the 2 that were in there.
Um, yeah, no, he's fine. There's a seat on the other side of me probably.
Yeah, we'll just play it by ear when I get back.
Yeah. You're gonna
Uh-huh.
get back and be like, "Oh, because 'cause you're not gonna confront this guy."
I would be intimidated. He's taller than me. Anybody that's taller than me, I get intimidated by. That's just the nature of humanity.
Yeah. I mean, I could say same.
Well, yeah, but that applies to like never mind.
Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. Fuck you.
So you hit him with the side eye and then no response?
No, I'll probably respond. I'll just be looking forward as he's trying to talk to me, or I'll
Okay,
just keep
okay.
sipping on my drink
See,
and like,
this is
"Oh,
oh,
sorry. Um, what'd you say? I didn't hear you. My
oh my
bad.
god. This is such a disaster.
We
Look,
can't go into a public space together like we
look.
can't go to a public space."
A couple of oh man, maybe it was like a year or 2 ago. I forget exactly when it was. Yeah, I guess it was like 2 years ago, right? I was out at a bar with 1, 2, like 4 of my friends that are down where I'm living, right?
Mhm.
They had all kind of gone. It's a dance hall. Okay, I don't dance. I'm not a big fan of dancing in general. So my
Lame.
goal for that night was to lock down our table and not let anybody get, our space, right?
As one
While
does.
some of my friends would go off dancing, and I think some of them might have been playing pool, right? Now, while I was there, I was kind of just like on my lonesome, right? Just like drinking on my own. And this guy came up, right? And was just, kind of hanging out nearby and then kind of made his way to our table. And, I'm glazing over this part because we struck up a conversation. I don't
Mhm.
know how exactly that happened, right? But I started talking to this person. They started talking to me. And I found out that they were like a newly released felon
Oh,
who
you're making
had
friends.
yeah, yeah. Well, they had been jailed for like beating up their was it their wife, their girlfriend,
Oh.
maybe their wife's lover. I forget exactly what happened, right?
Oh.
But this dude was basically like, "Yeah, I just got out of jail, and I really need like." And he had a beer and I had a beer, and he was like, "Do you want to go do a shot?" And I was like, yeah, why not?" Right? I was like, "This is the craziest situation I've ever been in my life." I'm just like talking to like a, literally a criminal. Like, I guess he's not a criminal anymore. He's been rehabilitated
He's
or
an
whatever. But
ex-con.
exactly, right? But for
I feel like you don't need to be in these situations because
I
your
did not.
judgment is
I did not. I was telling my friends about this afterward. I was like, they were like, "Well, what did you do?" This was like, okay, so I had this conversation with this person. Then they like wandered off, right? We like had a shot together, and then
Mhm.
they kind of like left. I think he went to go dance or whatever, do something. Which I was just kind of like, well, all right, cool. Now I'm back on my own again. Went back over to the table. I was like, it's kind of really hot in here. We're kind of winding down, so then I ended up just going outside, and
Yeah.
it was like me, a couple of people that were like smoking, and then like a group of people. And so I was just kind of hanging out, like not really with the smokers and not with the other group. I was kind of in the middle,
Mhm.
but we were all having like one big conversation between like the seven of us that were out there.
Huh.
I stand by the fact that I am far more introverted than you are.
No, that's fair.
Maybe I'm using the wrong term. Maybe introverted is not the right term.
You're just socially awkward.
Well, okay, that's first of all, shots fired. All right, I'm not socially awkward. Actually, I
Ah!
take that back. I take that back. I've told some pretty heinous stories of me in social situations on here
Mhm.
before.
Would you like to give us one?
No, no, I really would
No,
not.
go ahead, go
I'm
ahead. We
never
got
going to
time.
relive the meat box incident. Will
Oh, no.
inevitably. I think I've already told that on here.
Remember that
Oh,
one time you were high?
oh, is that the
Eh,
one where I made the rat out of dirty
yeah.
napkins? No, no, I didn't tell that story on here, did I? Oh
You
my
did. You told
god.
that last episode.
Oh boy. Okay, so maybe you don't know what the meat box incident is. Oh, look, I stand by the fact that I'm not good at meeting new people that I
Mhm.
I'm good at meeting new people, like just kind of random people that I won't really interact with. But when it comes with somebody I'm meeting a new person who is an established group or established part of a longer term group that I'm kind of getting into, I have a terrible track record of like making a good impression with those people.
I felt that. I get that 100%. I'm in that same boat.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Like, so my old boss had a birthday party a few weeks ago, right?
Hmm.
And she had invited me and Jacob, as well as some people from her job and some other friends that I used to work with when I worked here at this apartment, right?
Sure.
And so we go there. And so we go there. The first person she opens the door, or her boyfriend opens the door. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" Blah blah blah. We kind of chat for a little bit. And Jacob, he's a lot more social than I am. So
Right.
he's just intermingling with everybody. Meanwhile, I'm talking to one person for a good 10 minutes.
Okay.
Because this is somebody who I used to work with, so I know her. So we were chatting it up for a little bit, just talking about work or whatever.
Oh, so
And
not someone
then
new, someone you were already familiar
yeah, this is
with.
someone I'm already familiar with, and
Okay. Right.
I
Right. Right.
liked her. She was cool.
Sure.
Um, so then ended up our conversation kind of ends, and so we're both a little awkward, so we both just kind of stand there for a little bit. I was like, I'm gonna go get some food.
Oh.
So I go get some food, and in the kitchen, that's where the birthday girl was and her best friend, and Jacob's in there with the birthday girl's boyfriend, and they're just kind of chatting about stuff. And then so then I'm just like, can can I eat this? And the person who's cooking food is like, yeah, no, like everything you can get whatever you want. I was like, okay,
Oh,
cool. So then I would get some food or whatever. I go to the fridge and I'm like, okay, I see people with alcohol. I see people with beer. I can't find any, so I'm gonna just drink a Pepsi. And so I drink a Pepsi, and Jacob's actively talking to somebody right then. So walk up and stand right next to him,
okay.
and I'm just sipping on this Pepsi. And so then when he finishes that conversation, he looks at me, and I look at him, and I said, and I'm holding the Pepsi while he and the other guy, he and the boyfriend are holding a beer because they were chatting. And he looks at me,
Right.
and I'm like, I feel like I'm in King of the Hill right now. And so then from there, the birthday girl starts talking to me in that group, and so then we're all kind of talking or whatever. I'm just kind of updating her on like my job status and like how things are at my new job. I guess it's not my new job anymore,
Sure.
but at my job. And
Yeah.
so then I had said something that she thought was hilarious. And so she basically calls all the people I used to work with over so I
Oh,
can share
boy.
that story with them. And
Oh,
I was like,
no.
oh dear. Okay. So I retell the
Did
story and all of them are like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, it was kinda wild."
become,
And
like,
so
public
then
speaking at that point?
the people who I used to work with that I didn't really talk to, they were talking to me now. And so I was just like, "I don't know how to talk to you. I don't know what to talk to you about, but I'm just gonna keep talking about my job because that seems to be what you're interested in right now,
Right.
or rather the bad things at my job." And then she was updating me about her one of them was updating me about, like, how things are at her job, and I was like, "That's cool. No, I'm glad that, your things are better." Yeah.
You
And then
even you
Jacob
got,
was like,
like, ingratiated in with the whole rest of the group. That was your in right there.
I know. Listen. So, anyways, after that happens, I go back to Jacob, and I was like, I didn't speak loud, but Jacob, he's 6'4", I'm 5'5", so he's a whole foot taller than me. So I go over to
Right.
him, and I look up, and I said, do you know where the beers are? I kind of want a beer. And he goes, oh yeah, I got you. So he pulls one out of the fridge because apparently I just missed him, and so
They're
now
probably
I'm
on the top
sipping on it.
shelf, yeah.
It was on the bottom shelf.
Oh gosh, even worse.
Yeah, so I'm sipping on a beer or whatever, and then I go over to where they had made, like, a charcuterie board, and I'm just kinda snacking on that, and then, the birthday girl's coworker's wife, they're a lesbian couple, pretty cool.
Okay.
Uh, they're both older, or her coworker and the coworker's wife, they're both older in, like, maybe, like, their 40s, possibly 50s, and so the wife comes over because we were talking about or she was talking about pets with somebody. She comes over, she whips out her phone, and she goes, "These are our babies," and she starts
Mm.
showing me her dogs.
Okay, yeah,
Mind you,
yeah.
I've never seen this woman before in my life.
She just, like, unprompted started showing you her dogs?
Yeah, and I was like,
Nice.
"Oh, wow, they're so cute. Oh, yeah." And so she starts telling me about, like, the story of the dogs and how much she loves them, whatever,
Mm.
and, like, she was like, have you seen the birthday girl's boyfriend's dog before?" And I was like, "No, no, I haven't." She goes, "Yeah, no, they're precious, blah, 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 blah. Do you have any pets?" And I
Mm.
was like, "Well, no, not really. I mean, unless you count Jacob," as I point to Jacob.
Oh.
And she goes
Uh-huh.
"Oh, he's not really a dog, he's more of a bear." Which, if you don't
Uh,
know.
yes, I'm familiar with the terminology. Yeah, yeah,
And I was
you've
like,
enlightened
"Oh,
me.
that's hilarious. I like her."
Okay. Wait, so this was this like oh man, I'm trying to like picture this scene. First of all, that like walking up and talking about your pets for a very long extended amount of time is like one of my pet peeves, I think, in life.
Yeah.
Like one of I get so fed up with that so fast. But anyway, that's yeah, nice that they love
I
their
was
pets.
literally eating cheese and, like, slices of meat. I wasn't talking to anybody. I was
Mhm.
literally sitting there by myself. There was a group in the living room chatting it up. There's a group in the kitchen chatting it up. I was over here by myself. Somebody was sitting at the, like, the little bar area too. So she just sees me. She comes over. She shows me the dog. She talks about her dogs. Then we start talking about pets. Then I make the joke about Jacob, and then that turns into, what's it called? We start talking about like how I know the birthday girl and stuff
Mm.
like that. And so then that turns into me talking about like my current job and all the stuff that I struggle with. She doesn't work in property management. So she was talking about how her wife does and like things that she hears from her wife, blah 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 blah. So then she calls
Oh,
her
okay.
wife over,
Okay,
and
yeah,
she's
yeah.
been doing property management, I think she said for like 15 years.
Oh,
And so
okay.
then we just start sharing horror stories back and forth. And I was like, I like these two. Wait, I
Yeah.
kind of fuck with them. And then, you know, I talked to the wife for a good hour.
Oh,
Like we're just
wow, okay.
sharing horror stories for like an hour. And I was like,
Oh,
this is nice. This is very comforting.
yeah. Hey,
I don't know
man,
what it is
everybody
about
loves,
you.
like, a good, like, medical gore horror.
Yeah.
I
Wait,
imagine it's the
what? What'd you say
exact
to me?
same. It's like, they like, whenever a nurse like, nurses or doctors in general, like, always have something to talk about because they could
Yeah.
just be like, "Oh, yeah, this guy came in with, like, a pair of scissors stuck in his thigh." And they go,
Oh,
"What?
yeah.
Oh my god." You could do the exact same thing. You're like, "Yeah, I walk into this apartment and every wall was covered in mold." They go,
Oh,
"Oh
yeah,
my
no.
god."
I think that was a conversation that we did have at one
Oh.
point. Yeah, because Jacob ended up coming over, and we talked about horror stories from our old job,
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
then that turned into he brought it or, the birthday girl's boyfriend also had, popped in the conversation then because Jacob had brought up something that happened last year or the year before where, he was a property manager at the time, the boyfriend, and there was an apartment that somebody had moved out of, and there was just like a leak that nobody knew about. And so they finally go to turn it, and the entire bathroom is covered in mold. And it wasn't
Damn.
just water, it was hot water. So the humidity made the door start melting, the fan start melting,
Yeah.
like it was disgusting. It was
Wow.
wild though.
So,
And so
about how long would you say the party was? It's like 4 hours long? Like 8 to
I
8
think
to
yeah,
midnight?
3-4 hours long.
And how much of that would you say you just spent awkwardly standing alone eating, like, cheese really just being alone at the party in general?
I'd say maybe half of it, only because I was talking to the wife.
That
Uh,
and then that's not alone, you're talking to somebody. I'm
I know, I'm
talking you're
saying so
sitting over
that's why
there
half of it because I
shoveling
was
meat
talking to
cheese into
her.
your mouth and checking the weather app on your phone.
I definitely was I was playing my Dragon Ball game on my phone whenever I
You
wasn't talking to
mother
nobody. Um, and, like,
Ah!
I would linger while people were having conversations, but I wasn't a part of the
Just like
conversation.
an
I was, like, literally,
awkward
like,
little fairy
outside.
floating around the outskirts of this, like,
Yeah.
party. Oh my
And, like, I would
lord.
make commentary in my head like, "Oh, wow, that's kinda wild." But, like, I didn't know half the people there, and I wasn't really a fan of the people not everybody that was there too. So then I was just like,
Right?
"Well, there's no one for me to talk to
That's where
except
you
for, like,
just you
these 2
stick
people." But
yeah. You group up with the few people that you know. You don't make friends with anybody else. You just hang out with those certain
well, the
people.
problem is the people that I know that I like to talk to, they know everybody, so they were intermingling with everybody the whole time.
Mm, yeah,
So I was just left to be like, "Okay, cool." And then, after, like, pretty much during that conversation with the wife, the lady who showed me the dogs was like, "Okay, well, we're gonna have to go now because I have work in the morning, blah, blah, blah." So they leave, and pretty much almost everybody else at the party, um, besides, I guess, really just the guys, was like, "I'm so glad that she's gone that they're gone. I didn't like talking to her, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, I liked them. I thought they were cool, but,
oh
you know, I
gosh.
guess I'm the minority here. But I think
Yeah,
it's also I it's because I grew up around, like, older women most of my life, I have
sure.
this kinda comfort around them that's just kinda like a familiarity.
Sure, yeah, it's, like,
So, like,
easier
I
to
didn't
talk
feel
to yeah.
weird or, like, what's it called? Not yeah, overwhelmed, I guess,
Mm,
whenever they were talking to me. It was kinda like, "Oh, it's just like I'm talking to my mom's friends almost," when I was little.
sure.
So it was just kinda like, "This isn't too bad," but when it comes to talking to people my age, I don't know how to talk to them.
Yeah, yeah. I know, I understand that, I understand that. Oh gosh. That's
Yeah,
that's like a horror story, really, that, like why hasn't anybody made, like, a short film? I assume they have, where it's just, like,
probably.
awkwardly at a party where you don't know anybody really. Or it's like
That's
you just
just
have,
my
like, that one you were brought by the one friend that knows everybody, but that one friend everybody knows that one
they
friend, so they're
disappear.
really popular,
Yeah.
and so they just vanish. Yeah. That's where you go find, like, a
Another
bathroom
example, I
and
guess, would
do
be,
exactly what you did. You play Dragon Ball for 3 hours until
yeah.
you're like, "Oh, where have you been?" Like, "Ah, you know, mingling.
I've
I've been
gone out
around."
with Chanel and her friends to Fry a couple of times.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it would be, like, all of us, like, the whole apartment and, like, a group of friends or a group of her friends, really, like, I fuck with them, I think they're cool people, but then
Sure.
whenever we get out and get to the bars, it's kinda like, "Hi hello, I'm just gonna sip on my drink. I'm here to have a good time, it's a vibe, but also Imma just stay over here." And,
Yeah.
like, if Jacob's ever out, I kinda just cling to him, I
Yeah, yeah,
realized.
it makes sense.
And he hates it though, 'cause, we had met some of Chanel's friends who we've never met before, and they they thought that me and Jacob were a couple
Ah,
because
yeah,
I clung on to him so closely, and,
yeah.
like, I was basically inseparable from him. Um, but also it was kinda like one of
Oh,
those things where it's like, I know this guy, I'm comfortable with him. And I can say the same for Chanel, of course. But Chanel was with her friends and they were having a good time. And so I was like, that's cool. Y'all are having fun times and socially interacting and whatnot. I'll be right here.
right. Yeah.
The only other time really that I can think of that I went out where it wasn't kind of like that was when me and Chanel, sometimes we have what we call hot girl walks. Which is whenever we're feeling not mentally good, and so we'll just
Ah,
go for a walk.
sure,
And usually it's wherever the walk takes us. Sometimes we'll end up at like a park, sometimes we'll end up over by the school and just kind of hang out there. This one particular time we ended up on Fry. A couple times we ended up on Fry Street where the
sure,
bars are. And so we go there and we're just it's not a busy night because I think it's like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So like
sure.
nobody's really at the bars.
Those are the
So we're
good
just
those are the good
kinda
times to go to the bars, yeah.
yeah, we're kinda just hanging out, and we go to the time her favorite bar, and we were just kind of vibing there, and, like, I could say this is probably the first time that I've been out there because there wasn't that many people, I wasn't, like, super intimidated or, like, overwhelmed, and so I was just kind of vibing, and we just ended up finding a spot underneath an AC because it was hot, and we're just kinda standing there, and then there's a DJ, and he's playing a lot of bangers, so then we're just sitting there dancing. And
Okay, yeah.
you'll rarely ever catch me dancing out in public.
Oh, sure.
Uh, but I was having a great time. It was
Hey,
cool.
yeah. It's the more intimate settings that are usually a lot more fun. For me, especially, a lot more than a party with, like, 60 people there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. I'm not
Well,
a not a
that is
party
our
guy.
hour. We've hit an hour.
We have hit an hour. Wow. I need to see if I shouted out Lamella John on the other podcast.
Oh, nice.
I
I
don't remember
appreciate
why.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Because somebody was saying, "How come I never shout us out on that one?" I think it was Anthony.
How you
So I
you
did.
don't shout out like Jiddle on the pond?
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
podcast, not the same thing.
Oh,
The
sorry,
pond
sorry.
is kind of a trademark thing we've learned.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, I need to see if we're gonna be doing that today too, but we'll see what happens.
Nice. The double header. Yeah, I gotta go and I got a music festival that I'm helping film.
Yeah, I guess we
That's why I
should end
can't be
this
for
then
too
so we
long.
can get it up.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Hmm? What?
Alright, well, it's been fun, everyone. Thanks for listening to us rant and talk about how socially awkward we are.
Yeah, I guess we know what this episode is gonna be titled. All right. Let's see everybody
Bye!
next time. Bye.